Every day I learn a little bit more about myself through others, whether it's something that's poignantly made known to me about me through others or something where I kind of just vibe with it and it's cool. I'm about to sneeze, so bear with me just a moment. Allergies. Okay, so scrolling through TikTok, came across this live with this woman. And if you hear long pauses, it's because I'm about to sneeze. I don't know where these allergies came from, out of the blue again. But this woman, really big woman, she had to be like 400, 500 pounds, but she seemed to be pretty proportionate and attractive, and her house is clean. That's always a big thing. Her house is clean. So she's sitting there on a nicely made up bed. Everything's all pink, really, really light skin, and just chomping on stuff from eating from a paper plate, and literally like 500 pounds, very short hair, glasses. And she's talking, and the stuff she's talking about seems pretty unlegit, but then she gets to the point where she starts complaining. She's talking about black men and how and she reminded me of myself. I'm gonna tell you why, because she was talking about black men. I don't talk about black men, but she was talking about how don't nobody want to watch nothing unless it's about fighting or drama. And then she has a whole YouTube channel about black men, and nobody comes to watch it. She sounded like me, right? Except I don't talk about black men. I just want support, period. And then she goes, and then I just said, well, I'm not really interested, in black men and all that. I'm just trying to be happy. And she's like, well, it's not necessarily per se about black men, but about being queens and whatever. And trying to get women to stop wearing weaves and fake fingernails and all this. And so this is where, back in the day, I would care about stuff like that. But I don't necessarily care about that stuff now because I don't have none of that. And I like me. Why do I have to worry about what everybody else is doing? And I try to think about why would I care about that stuff back in the day? Probably because I would interact with different types of people, like that would be my circle. But the honest to God truth is that I don't have a circle. It's just me. And if I don't like that, I ain't gotta be around it. How do I feel about it being just me? I'm happy when I look at it in the bigger picture of things because I don't know. The alternative of that is just having people around. There's pluses and minuses for everything, but I'm happy being, with me because I don't have to. I mean, it's a little bit of freedom in that. I like it, in my opinion. Um, and in my older age, I'm just happy being me and being by myself and not caring about, and not having to worry about stuff that don't need to be worried about. I mean, it ain't none of my business how somebody else do their hair or wear their hair or walk or talk. That's really none of my business unless it's something that's bringing me joy or delighting me. It's none of my business, and I'm very happy with that. And so I saw myself in her because even though what she had to say was interesting to me, I had to swipe away from it because it was her talking about her the whole time. And she hadn't been on her YouTube channel in a while, but that's what it's about. Don't nobody go there. And she talks about somebody else's channel and how they have all these pretty women on there, and they don't have ugly girls on there. She thinks she's ugly. She's not ugly, by the way. She's really pretty, but you can tell she feels that way probably because she's not in the mainstream. I'm not in the mainstream either, so I get it. But it's just I saw myself in her. I understood why nobody wanted to watch her stuff, even though she was a nice person. She complained about it too much. She whined about it too much. Now, if she just did what she did, then that would be something else. And so I'm glad I saw that because it made me see myself that, hey, if I just do what I do, I don't have to complain about nobody else. Just do what I do. And if I enjoy it, fine. If don't nobody else come, they ain't got to come. So I was glad to see that. Like I said, God blesses me in so many different ways. And that was a blessing to be able to see that, see myself in her.